You wake to the silent hum of obligation. The calendar notifications pile up like invisible weights on your chest. Another day of meetings, deadlines, school runs, and expectations. The world tells you to live your truth, but your truth feels like a checklist written by someone else. A whisper rises in the back of your mind. What if I just stopped? What if you walked away from the job, the mortgage, the routines? This fantasy isn't just a daydream. It's a psychological refuge from the relentless pressure of modern life. This is the disconnection. It's not laziness. It's the human psyche reacting to a perceived threat, the threat of a life lived on autopilot, where your actions feel divorced from your inner world. You find yourself locked in a silent, internal debate. On one side, the voice of immediate gratification. Your happiness matters most. Don't you deserve a break? This is too hard. It paints a picture of liberation on a beach somewhere, free from all demands. On the other side, a quieter, more stubborn voice. But I said I would. People are counting on me. This is who I am. This is the ethical self. The part of you that understands promises and integrity, even when it's inconvenient. We often mistake this conflict as a sign that we're on the wrong path. But the Confucian tradition offers a different lens, one that doesn't judge the desire to escape, but diagnoses its root cause. This is not a failure of your circumstances. It's a failure of alignment. The ancient concept of Zheng Ming, the rectification of names, teaches that harmony crumbles when our actions are disconnected from the true meaning of our roles. You hold the name parent, but your actions are drained of presence, reduced to logistical management. You are a leader, but your focus is on output, not on the growth of your team. You are a partner, but the connection has been buried under a pile of shared chores. The exhaustion you feel is the psychic cost of this misalignment. The role has become a hollow shell, and you feel like an imposter trapped inside it. This is the modern trap. The pursuit of a responsibility-free life, the chase for that mythical beach, often leads not to freedom, but to a different kind of confinement. It's the emptiness of a life without anchor, the anxiety of an identity built on sand. You trade the weight of duty for the vertigo of meaninglessness. The very responsibilities you seek to escape are often the structures that give your life its shape and its stakes. Without them, you are a ship adrift, momentarily relieved of the struggle against the current, but utterly lost at sea. The conflict you feel is not a signal to abandon your post. It is the raw material of your moral awakening. It is the friction that proves you are still alive, still capable of caring about something beyond your immediate comfort. The weight you carry is not your enemy. It is the invitation to build shoulders strong enough to bear it with grace. The fantasy of escape is a seductive lie. It promises freedom but delivers rootlessness. So where does the real path lie? It begins with a seismic shift in perspective. What if the very constraints you chafe against are not your prison walls, but the tools for your liberation? Consider the musician. She does not find artistic freedom by ignoring scales and rhythm. She masters them. Through the disciplined repetition of finger exercises and the study of theory through embracing the structure, she earns the capacity to improvise, to compose, to express something uniquely her own. The scales do not bind her. They become the invisible architecture that allows her music to soar. Your life is no different. The duties, the responsibilities, the have-tos, these are your scales. They are the repetitive, often mundane exercises that, when practiced with intention, carve out the space for a character of depth and resilience. This is the moment of clarity. Duty is not the opposite of freedom. It is its training ground. Every time you choose to do what is right, rather than what is easy, you are not just completing a task. You are casting a vote for the person you wish to become. You are sculpting your future self. The internal satisfaction that comes from seeing a difficult project through, from keeping a promise to your child when you are tired, from acting with integrity when no one is watching, this is not a fleeting emotion. It is the deep, resonant confirmation of your own moral agency. It is the building of self-trust. This is where the Confucian virtue of yi righteousness, or moral disposition transforms from an abstract idea into a psychological reality. Yi is not a set of rules imposed from the outside. It is the cultivated internal compass that points toward the action that is inherently right and fitting for a given situation. It is the muscle memory of your conscience. When you face a dilemma to cut a corner or do the job properly, to speak a comforting truth or stay silent for peace, Yi is the faculty that assesses the context and guides you toward the proportional, correct response. It is the answer to the question, what does a person of character do here? Let's make this concrete. Imagine a team leader, Maria, facing a tight deadline. The easy path, the one her company's culture might even silently reward, is to demand overtime, take credit for the work, and push the team to burnout. The voice of immediate gratification says, your bonus, your reputation. But Maria feels the friction, the weight. Then she remembers Yi. She chooses the harder right path. She transparently shares the challenge with her team, protects their time by ruthlessly prioritizing, and shields them from upper management pressure. The project may finish a day later, but her team's trust and loyalty become unshakable. The burden of leadership was not in the deadline. It was in the ethical choice. By choosing Yi, she did not lose her freedom. She exercised it in its most potent form. She built a fragment of her character that no promotion can ever match. The weight you feel, then, is not the mass of your duties, but the resistance of your untrained will. The path forward is not to lighten the load, but to forge a stronger spine. It is to see each responsibility not as a rock to be carried, but as a chisel strike that click by click reveals the statue within the marble. Understanding the why is the map, but the how is the first step on the path. The bridge between the burden of duty and its surprising lightness is built not with grand gestures, but with the small intentional bricks of daily practice. This is the realm of Li, often translated as ritual, but better understood as the art of infused action. Li is the grammar of virtue, the structure that turns chaotic impulses into eloquent expressions of character. This is not about empty formalities. It is about behavioral neuroscience disguised as wisdom. A ritual, in this sense, is any repeated action performed with a conscious intention that transcends the action's mere utility. It is a deliberate anchor for the wandering mind, a way to train your neural pathways to associate duty with presence rather than with resentment. Let us translate this into two practical techniques, two forms of Li you can begin today. The first technique, the intentional threshold. Consider the simple act of walking through your office door or entering your home. For most, it's a neutral transition, a blur between two worlds. Now, reframe it as a ritual. As you place your hand on the doorknob, you pause for one breath. In that moment, you consciously shed the skin of your previous role. You set an intention for the next chapter of your day. As I enter this space, I will be fully present for my team. Or, as I cross this threshold, I leave my work burdens outside and open myself to my family. This is not a magical incantation. It is a psychological trigger. By creating this micro-ritual, you are performing a cognitive shift. You are no longer being passively pulled by the current of your schedule. You are steering. The door is no longer just a door. It is a ceremonial gateway between your different spheres of responsibility, and you are the active participant in the transition. The second technique, the alchemy of the mundane. Now, take the most dreaded task on your list, the one that feels like pure burden, filling out the tedious reports, washing the dishes after a long day, dealing with that one bureaucratic chore. This is the raw material for your transformation. Before you begin, you ask the question we uncovered in Chapter 2, but now with focused precision. Which action, right now, builds the character of the person I want to be? The person you want to be is thorough, so you fill out the report with care, not haste. The person you want to be is contributive, so you wash the dishes as a service to the harmony of your home, not as a punishment. The person you want to be is patient and effective, so you handle the bureaucracy with calm persistence. Let's watch this internal shift in a mini narration. David stares at the sink full of pans. The old script in his head begins. Why is it always me? I'm so tired. He feels the weight. But then he remembers Lee. He doesn't just dive in. He takes a breath. He places the sponge under the water and makes a conscious choice. This is not a chore. This is how I care for the space that shelters my family. This is an act of respect. The task itself hasn't changed. The water is still hot, the grease still there, but his internal experience has been completely rewired. The weight is gone, replaced by a quiet, purposeful motion. He is no longer a man washing dishes. He is a man practicing the art of care through the medium of a sponge and a pan. The duty has become a ritual, and the ritual has become a source of dignity. This is the integration. This is how you weave meaning into the mundane. You are not just checking off tasks. You are engaging in a constant, daily practice of self-sculpting. Every responsibility, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity to reinforce the neural pathways of integrity, care, and excellence. The light weight of duty is discovered here, in this alchemy. The weight vanishes not because the load is lifted, but because you have found your strength. You have learned to carry it not on your back, but in your hands, with the focused grace of an artisan shaping their craft. We began this journey in the shadow of a modern malaise, the crushing weight of duty, the whispering fantasy of escape. We walked through the landscape of your internal conflict, where the desire for freedom seemed locked in a permanent war with the voice of responsibility. We then uncovered a hidden truth, that this conflict is not a flaw, but the raw material of your transformation. The Confucian mirror showed us that the fatigue was a sign of misalignment, a life lived out of tune with the deeper meaning of our roles. We discovered Yi, the moral compass that guides us to do what is right, not what is easy. And we found our tools in Li, the small, daily rituals that transform mundane duties into practice grounds for character. The transformation we have traced is not from a life of duty to a life without it. It is a transformation within duty itself. We have moved from seeing it as a burden imposed from the outside to recognizing it as a path chosen from the inside. The weight has not been lifted. You have become stronger. The chains have not been broken. You have discovered they were the threads of your own integrity all along. This is the final, serene awareness. A life of meaning is not a destination you find by escaping your responsibilities. It is a landscape you cultivate by inhabiting them fully. The light weight is the feeling of that cultivation. It is the effortless effort of the master craftsman who no longer fights their tools, but wields them with grace. It is the parent who finds profound connection in the routine of a bedtime story. It is the professional who finds integrity in the honest email. Your life is not a problem to be solved by running away. It is a work of art to be composed, note by note, duty by duty. The character you are building through every intentional threshold you cross, every mundane task you infuse with purpose, is the only possession that cannot be taken from you. It is the source of a peace, independent of circumstances, a confidence built not on the shifting sands of external praise, but on the bedrock of your own actions. So the journey does not end here. It begins anew, with the very next responsibility that awaits you. Do not see it as a rock to be carried. See it as a chisel. Take it in your hands. And with the focused intention of an artist, ask yourself once more, what action, right now, builds the character of the person I truly wish to become? Then, take that step. This is the unending, beautiful path of becoming more fully human. If this content resonated with you and you'd like to delve deeper into this journey with us, your participation makes all the difference. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next meetings. Leave a like to support us. And in the comments, share your perspective. Your voice enriches our community. Until next time, let's keep walking.